It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in after an unbelievable weekend of sport. Actually, on just about every playing field you can find. The PGA Championship, of course, no different, took place this weekend. An American, Brooks Koepka, survived a late charge from Dustin Johnson to win the tournament for a second consecutive year when he triumphed at Bethpage Black to I think take us through what was a pretty one-sided affair. He did have his moment or two. Digital golf editor Wade Pretorius. Wade, how massive is this for Brooks? People have we love to highlight these kind of milestone moments, but how big is this getting a back-to-back title now, and 4 in 8 years?
Yeah, he's the first guy to ever be the double holder. So he's got the US Open twice. He's the double defending champ. That's next month. And now he's the defended his PGAs. No one else has done that in history.
Wow. Yeah.
That's incredible. Throughout this event, he racked up so many different accolades and stats. They're just building up. He's got 4 majors now, which means he's on par with Rory McIlroy. And if you think that he's one of the global superstar, now we've got to put Brooks in that same category.
Absolutely, and I mean, the headline as it was coming into the final day was "Catch Koepka if you can." That's what all the commentators were saying. He was absolutely dominant from the get-go, even with world number 1 at the time, Dustin Johnson there, and Tiger Woods being
was Tiger the favourite?
Yeah, but he was among the favourites.
Yeah, he was in the top 4. Yeah. After the Masters, he was definitely considered to be one of the guys to watch. But Brooks executed. I mean, that big stick, that driver, he just went out there, and that course demands it. It's so long and it's so narrow. With the rough is just huge. That line there, he's going straight at the flag.
Look at that line. How on earth do you even... You've got to trust yourself and your driver if you're hitting that kind of shot when you're trying to defend a major.
Yeah, it's amazing. Maybe you can also weigh in here as a golfer, but how can one golfer, and in this kind of field, very strong field, a beautiful late charge by Dustin as well, but how can one player be able to dominate a course to this degree and kind of click when no one else really has?
Yeah, I mean, he made that course look easy over the first 3 days. Okay, he had his wobble last night, but over the first 3 days, he was playing a different course.
Yeah.
But the thing with him is when he's on fire, he hits the ball so far, so straight, that he's got high wedges into the greens, where everyone else is hitting 6-iron, he's hitting pitching wedge, and that just puts him closer to the hole than anyone else.
Yeah, the commentators kept on going on about the incredible focus that he is able to execute on the course. Granted, and unlike the other majors, you don't have the leaderboards all around that kind of show you what's going on at a specific point. So you hear a crowd cheering, but it doesn't really play on your mind how you need to change your game, especially when you have the likes of Dustin Johnson chasing behind you. But Tiger Woods, what do you think went wrong for him?
I think the quick turnaround, it wasn't that long. We were talking about the Masters, and there was the hype, the adrenaline that put him down. He's managing his body with all the injuries, and he didn't play competitively between the Masters and now. There were only about 4 or 5 events, but he didn't choose to play one of them. So maybe a little bit, competitive, rusty, if he can get that, even though he's played so much golf in his life.
Maybe it just wasn't on the immediate targets as well, what he set for himself this year. He's got to be realistic as well,
But it's a tough course for him. He's not prolific with the driver. He doesn't hit it that straight. He scrambles well, but you can't scramble when the rough is 2 foot high.
Yeah, once you've crossed that line, you're out. South Africans, did any feature?
Yeah, well, Eric van Rooyen was just outside the top 10. He's one to watch. He's a European Tour player. He's done really well. Unfortunately, last night, or yesterday, all the scores were pretty much quite high, and he just drifted out of getting a nice top 5 finish, which would have been financially and world ranking-wise would have been huge.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Koepka then he earned 1.98 million. And he now returns to the #1 spot in the world.
Good. It's good work if you can find it. 1.98 for 4 days hitting the golf ball.
It looked like a lifetime's worth of focus in that moment as well. And you get a sense that no other competitor was really going to shake that. That nerve was amazing to see and to hold and be put through the fire a little bit. You want to have a wobble going towards some kind of an achievement like this, dude. Thank you so much. Thanks for staying up the whole night.
I need that coffee that you guys.
Yeah, it's on its way, man.